listening to the Top Music Guitar Podcast, the show for guitar teachers to learn about the craft of teaching great guitar lessons that students love. If you're looking to start or expand your studio and make guitar teaching your full-time dream job, you've come to the right place. Each week, you'll get to hear from some of the top guitar teachers from around the globe and get their best tips and experiences so you too can build your own dream studio. I'm your host, Michael, and I've founded one of the top guitar schools in Australia, written a best-selling curriculum, and I mentor guitar teachers. I'm excited to share my expertise with you and the wisdom of all the experts we interview. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Top Music Guitar Podcast. Today I've got a really special guest for you, someone who is doing amazing stuff in the online space and helping a lot of music teachers get their courses out there, get known on social media, and get more students through the door. And that is Brocha Kahan. Brocha, welcome to the Top Music Podcast.
It is so good to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Michael. Looking forward to this.
Well, it's so great to have you here. And, you are someone who's absolutely smashing it online. You almost can't open up your phone or go on Instagram or Facebook without seeing something from you. And you're just putting out amazing content. So yes, it's absolutely fantastic to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's definitely good to hear that. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, can you give the listeners a brief overview of your story so far, and what you did in the offline space and your transition to online?
Yeah, sure. So my online story is definitely a COVID online story, that's for sure. So before COVID, before and after COVID, that's that situation, right? So before COVID, I had this thriving physical studio in Manchester, where I live, Manchester, England. It was absolutely thriving. I couldn't have been happier with it. It was at the point where I was thinking on taking more teachers, and it was at the point I was just doing myself. And I was, there was the waiting list. It was really doing well. But then, COVID, right? So that, I still get emotional when I talk about it. And, I'm sure other teachers resonate, because it was a big thing, right? So yeah, COVID happened and it was gone from one day to the next. I know it sounds dramatic saying that now, but if you remember at the time when COVID first started, we literally had no clue. It was just chaotic, right? It was absolutely crazy. And, none of my students could make the transition to online lessons. I never even thought about doing online lessons, but I saw in the Facebook groups, in the music teacher Facebook groups, people talk about doing Zoom and that stuff. I'm like, okay, let's do that. I asked all my students, and they kind of fell into two camps. Either they were teenagers who were just way too overwhelmed themselves with the whole situation to, commit to another Zoom call every week, or they were just too young to, to do it, right? So I was back to square zero after after building up my beautiful studio in Manchester with blood, sweat and tears. So I was like, okay, I want online students, right? So if I want online students, I guess I'm going to have to do some marketing online, right? And I had no clue what I was doing, but I was so determined. And then, I made an absolute mess of it, but it somehow worked, because I'm not just saying it worked from one day to the next. I did not give up. I tested, I tried, I researched, I did whatever I had at my disposal. I was so determined and so driven to get this going. But it did happen rather quickly once I did that. And then the problem with that I found was that I did well. I got people asking me for lessons, and I, filled up my online studio pretty quickly, which was insane. But the problem with that was it felt very unpredictable. I felt like I was on this, it just felt like you do not want your business to feel so unpredictable, right? I was like, I never knew where the next student would come from, or so that's when I started really looking into it and started really studying and taking courses and hiring top mentors. and then I felt like my social media game was a lot more predictable, and I really started falling in love with it. And then I was like, okay, I want to take it further. How can I take it further? So obviously, I'm really long story short here, right? And then I launched my course, and my course launch did so well that I was able to stop doing my online Zoom lessons because I just had a baby. So obviously, I love teaching. But with a baby, with 2 kids now, I just found that the teaching them one-to-one on Zoom was just not working, anymore. And so then I was just doing the course, and then I kind of accidentally started helping my music teachers friends, and then I fell in love with that. And that's what I do now. I help music teachers grow not just on social media, but really build a very predictable, robust marketing system that they can use to grow their business to what they've dreamed of and even bigger. Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think one of the key takeaways there is the fact that you didn't give up. There's just so many
Oh,
music
yeah.
teachers who, they try things once and go, oh, it didn't work. And then they move on to the next thing.
Nuh-uh.
And
Like,
then
it
they try
sounds
that
all
once.
sweet and rosy. Yeah, it sounds all sweet and rosy that how I got such quick results, but in that relatively short amount of time, there was so much there was so many obstacles, and I had no idea what I was doing so much. So like I was figuring out things, but I just, like I said, yeah, I really had that determination, like nothing was going to stop me. So yeah, definitely that was definitely that. Yeah.
Excellent. And that's the kind of determination you need. I know us music teachers are
Yeah.
generally, pretty non-confrontational, and often, music is the priority. But as soon as you transition into music teaching, you now have to put your business hat on and your big boy
Yeah.
pants or your big girl pants on, and, be a lot more resilient and persistent, and, just go, what do I want? Do I want to make this business work, or do I want to be slightly uncomfortable? And you got to go out of the comfort zone and straight into, doing
Oh,
whatever it takes to
yeah.
make your business work. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did.
100%. Like, obviously the people listening to the podcast, hopefully they can also catch up with mine. But like, yeah, like we were talking about last week, we had somewhat similar journeys, because we, eye on the prize, eye on the prize, and nothing stops you. And it's not like, that's the thing. It's like, it can seem like I had big success in a short amount of time, but like I took the risk. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't easy. It was relatively quick, but it was not easy.
That's it. And
Yeah,
sometimes when you take risks, everyone only sees the outcome. They don't see all the risks that you take and the hard
exactly.
work that you put in. But it's that whole tip of the iceberg kind of thing. Can I just
Exactly.
ask, are you still teaching? Are you still running your studio, or did you jump entirely into your online, coaching
Okay.
and courses?
So that's a really, really, really good question. So the thing is that so I was running both for a while, then a couple of months ago, and I was even like releasing new piano courses and new piano products, like a songbook, and I really enjoyed that. But I did have to decide to kind of stop doing my piano stuff for a bit. I really want to get back into it, really, really want to, because I've just got 2 young kids, and that is the reason. Like, it's hard enough juggling, 2 young kids and a business, and then juggling 2 young kids and 2 businesses, right? So my piano one is still there. But yeah, I'm doing well with my social media and course coaching, and my clients have been doing so well. And yeah, I'm definitely mainly doing that because yeah, I mean, I love it. I love teaching piano as well. It's really hard for me to give that a break. It was really, really, really difficult because I loved it so much, and I, really built it up to do well. And I'd kind of built up this whole machine, and then I was like letting it go, kind of. But sometimes you just have to follow your intuition, and just like follow the road that you find yourself on. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And, as
Yeah,
some doors open, other ones close, and you just
exactly.
literally take advantage of the opportunities as they come along. And sometimes you got to give up certain things to move forward, or, to get up kind of thing.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, again, I think you said last week, it's about what you say no to, right? Sometimes the things you say no to are just as hard as saying yes to things, but that gives you the space and the creative energy. But I do want to get back to it. Like, why I'm so passionate about what I do is because teaching music courses, creating music curriculums and music courses and changing the space of music education in our small but powerful way is just like it's just cannot be compared to anything. So yeah, so it really is amazing to see what my clients are doing and even how my piano students are doing with my courses. So yeah, it's definitely an amazing thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. And I'm so glad to hear, your success story, and obviously all the people that you're inspiring, and similar people who might be listening who've done other things who aren't quite on the radar yet. But it's just so good to see that people didn't just give up during COVID and actually took their destiny into their own hands. But moving on, how important is social media to guitar teachers and music studio owners in 2022?
So social media is just incredibly important. It should be a huge priority in your business. Like, I'm sure you're not surprised for me to say that, but social media is life changing. It truly, truly is. It is the vehicle to any business growth you want. You want to create a course, build a social media following to sell it to. You want to build a school, build a social media following to get students. You want to start doing something that's not music related, but something that you've learned from your time in music. Like, one of my clients went into business organization because she has so much experience organizing a studio that do you know what I mean? And so build an audience. An audience is the vehicle to get your message out there. So it can be social media, it can be YouTube. It can be, social media is more short term than YouTube, but YouTube is incredibly powerful as well. It can be TikTok if you do that right. It can be anything, but social media should be a huge priority because it just opens up all the doors to you. And without even being this whole social media guru, like, you do not need this whole big audience. You just need a way of getting your vision and your message out there in front of the right people, even if it's not tons of the right people, but a micro audience of the right people. It can change your life and your
Yeah,
business.
wonderful. And for people who aren't quite sure, which platform to go with, what are sort of your recommendations there?
Can you guess? I'm wondering if you can guess.
I'm going to go with Instagram because I think that's where I first found you. Instagram or Facebook? I can't remember.
So I am very strong on Instagram and Facebook, but especially for music, I would say TikTok.
TikTok. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually, thing about me, if you're completely new to social media, go for TikTok. And the reason is, if you're learning a platform from scratch and you're starting your social media journey, it might as well be on TikTok, because TikTok is seriously where it is at. Now, I love Instagram, and Instagram is incredibly powerful. It's incredibly powerful for different reasons, but TikTok is just so fast growing and people are just on TikTok so much. You're going to learn a platform, make a TikTok. The reason I'm not on TikTok as much as I tell some of my clients to be, even, is because I'm already kind of set in my ways on Instagram. And I love Instagram. It's very powerful and it works for me. But yeah, I would say TikTok. You have to choose one, go for TikTok. But then I would say the other things to consider. So definitely do TikTok as your priority. Now, secondarily, I like Instagram and Facebook for different reasons. Facebook I really like because it's very text-based. So you can really just work on your copywriting skills, which will obviously translate to your sales pages, your emails, your everything, right? Copywriting is, like, Michael, copywriting is one of the most important things you need, if not the most important, right? That's why I like Facebook. Instagram I like because it's very visual. You can really, get your branding out there, really connect with the audience and stories, and get more traffic with reels, and show your authority with posts. So I like them all for different reasons, but I would definitely say to anyone listening, if you have to choose one, go for TikTok. Especially as a musician, we are made for TikTok because it's audio, it's visual, it's in your face. Like, that's what musicians are. So it is made for us, and there are musicians and songwriters like blowing up all day every day on TikTok. So yes.
Awesome. So what's three things specifically our listeners, should they go out and make a TikTok or already have an existing TikTok, what's 3 things they could be doing to get more traffic or traction or students from TikTok?
So I'm not the TikTok expert, but TikTok is a hard one because it's, people can go viral in one day and like get 100,000 followers in one day, like from a stupid viral TikTok. Like that is just the randomest thing. But just keep making videos. So number one tip I would say is make TikTok videos. Get started, just be chilled with your videos. Don't make them very high production. Something I saw that really helped me with my TikTok, which is why I'm finally getting down to it, is that think of it as Instagram stories, which are just like, they're not a whole post, they just can be a quick thing. So just film a TikTok talking about your day, talking about your experience, talking about all that pops on your mind. Do a like stitch with another TikTok that, makes sense. So that would be number one. Number two is have a clear customer journey. What happens after someone sees your TikTok? They probably won't follow straight away. So you need to be getting more content out there. So you will keep coming up on their page. They will eventually follow you. Thirdly, what are they going to do once they have found you and have followed you? You want to have a link in your bio, which leads to a nice landing page, a nice email sequence, all that kind of stuff. And that really is where everything, it doesn't matter if it's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Behind the social media is like, where are you taking your customer to? And that is where the real magic happens, right? So TikTok is for traffic. Be chilled. Don't be high production, especially with TikTok. People just want chilled. That's why it's doing so well because, obviously over time you can, make more cool transitions and plan the videos more because those also do well. Yeah, be chilled with that. Look for ideas. Don't try, dig into your brain for ideas. Just look at what everyone is doing and just adapt that for you. That is how TikTok works. Like enjoy the ease of that. And then, have a really clear customer journey and a good sales strategy behind that. Yes.
Awesome. That's absolutely terrific. So guys, get on TikTok. That's the advice from Brocha here. And let's get back in your lane because obviously that's some fantastic advice and something you said wasn't your strong point. But let's get back into one of your strong points. So tell us maybe 3 things guitar teachers or music studio owners can do for Instagram this year.
Okay, so I know I said TikTok, but the thing is, even with TikTok, you can lead it back to your Instagram because Instagram is a cool platform and it's not going anywhere. The beautiful thing about Instagram is it really gives you the chance to get traffic, to nurture your followers and to convert them. TikTok doesn't have that. So I know I was talking about TikTok. This is like Instagram is important. So 3 things you need to do: content, engaging, and conversions. So content is the generic information to give helpful content, and that is good, but helpful content is not enough. I call it, in my methodology, I'll say that really quickly, self, serve, sales, and social proof. Now, so those are the 4 pillars I teach, my clients use and I talk about. You want content that shows your opinion. So not just generic, here's how to play ABCDFG on the piano, right? Or on the guitar, right? You want it to showcase your personality. And serve is giving those helpful tips, but the helpful tips should go, really think about what things are people coming up to, not just this is this, but really dig deeper into what answers people are looking for. And selling, you need to sell, right? You need to give people a reason to take that next step, right? And then social proof, that gives you credibility and shows that, show the results and the testimonials that you're getting. Yeah, so that's content. Then secondly, my second tip would be engage with other accounts. That is not just to get them to see you, but it really gives the algorithm a chance to suggest you to the right people. So, just train the algorithm to tell it, engage with accounts that you want to see your account, basically. Engage with their accounts so the algorithm will know who you are. And then thirdly, start a lot of conversations. Be curious. Like I've gotten so many clients just from being genuine. Like I never expected to get a client from that. Like never. I just was curious. We just started a conversation, or you know, like it just be really just genuine and curious and start conversations. And then when you get a bit further on in the line, you can go a bit fancier with emails and sales pages and webinars. But for the beginning, just be human, be real, and make connections and conversations. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think Instagram is obviously one of the big popular ones, and as you
Yeah.
said, not going anywhere.
Yeah.
TikTok's up and coming. I definitely was on TikTok, but I found it was destroying my attention span. So I basically had to do a
Yeah.
dopamine detox and get off it because I was just like I'd be sitting there just scrolling mindlessly, and I go, okay, one more video, okay, one more. But
I know
yeah,
it is you have to kind of pick your evil because it is, I mean, yeah, like it is, it sucks you into a whole new level. But we do have in terms of using it as a content creator, we do have an opportunity with TikTok and with even Instagram Reels that has not come around for years and years and years. The chance to truly be put in front of, like, I've been on Instagram for a bit now, and like, they've made the algorithm better to keep up with TikTok, but you literally have to fight tooth and nail to get seen. So that's why TikTok is we just really have the chance to be there first. And that is incredibly powerful. Yeah.
that's it. And there's definitely advantages to being a big fish on a small platform as opposed to any size fish on a platform with millions of other fish, or getting close to billions with Instagram. If not, I think they're
Yeah.
at about over the billion mark, perhaps. But yeah,
Yeah.
really awesome stuff. Can you share some insight into some mistakes that maybe you've made with social media, or mistakes you see people making all the time with social media?
So I would say mistake one is just not really prioritizing it and not looking at it as a true investment in your business. So, prioritize it, learn how to do it, make the time to do it. Like, it's hard to fit it in with everything else, but this is what is going to give you more time in the future to pursue what you really want to do, or, teach the kind of students you want to teach. So, and yeah, like, don't give up, keep testing it until it works. Like, every single person is going to have to find their own voice, their own style on social media. So don't give up. Thirdly is be very clear on your target market. That's a big thing for music teachers, because a lot of the Instagram advice is just follow other accounts in your niche, right? Which I talk about as well. But as a music teacher, you really have to be clear who is your niche. Not just I teach piano, but who are you going to engage with? So with me, what I found was really powerful for me, and a big mistake was I just felt completely lost in a platform with the billions of people, right? Anyone could want to learn piano, right? Like anyone. Where on earth am I supposed to start? But once I got clear on that, okay, I want to teach adults piano, yes, but I want to teach maybe professionals, or you know small business owners. So I started engaging with small businesses in the UK, and that's when things started to move, because I had a clear target market. So have a really clear target market. It's not even about niche, but decide who your community and your audience and your target market is, and then create your content for them and see what they want. And, obviously you have to create content in the first place to start seeing that, but don't stick yourself to a niche. Like, even when I talk with my clients, we have this thing called the ABC version of your ideal client. So don't don't limit yourself to one ideal client. Just be clear on who you're speaking to. Like, what is your target market? That is incredibly important. And then the next thing is not being clear on your sales strategy. Like, is your sales strategy evergreen, or is it launch based? What do I mean by that? Evergreen means starting conversations in the DMs every day, or having an evergreen masterclass to a call. But launches is when you have, building periods where you build and nurture your audience, and then every so often you launch a product with a close date. So I love doing the launching space because I find that I'm not marketing and selling and growing and doing all the stuff, at the same time. I have these months where I'm doing growing and nurturing, and obviously I can make different sales on the back end when people reach out to me for attraction marketing. And then I get into a zone, I get into like 10 or, I get into, let's say, a month where I'm doing a pre-launch and a launch. And that can make that has made me more in my business in 1 month than it makes in months. So I don't really see a difference in income, whether it's spread out or it's all in one go, because that's how powerful launches are. But also just be clear on your sales strategy. It doesn't have to be launches like I do, but just make sure you know how you are selling. Are you going to be actively reaching out to people every day, or are you going to be planning a proper, good, well executed launch to a warmed up audience? So just be clear on your sales strategy. So target market, what did I say? Target market and sales strategy, and just prioritize. Those are my 3 top tips. Yeah.
And I hope everyone listening at home has got a pen and paper and they're writing all these things down. This is absolute gold. So
Thank you.
I'm sure we're definitely going to steer you in the direction of Brocha very, very shortly. But if you had to pick one, and you maybe have already answered this question, but if you had to pick one social media platform for 2022, and I'll preface this by saying, so many social media gurus or, hustle kind of business coaches on social media, they're all about, you got to 10x it, you got to do Instagram, you got to do YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and there's, 20 different social media platforms you got to be on, and it's just completely overwhelming. So what advice would you have for people who are feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle 3 or 4 platforms at the same time? And if you had to pick one, what would that be?
I've got a bit of a different answer to that, because I find, as someone who's busy, I love using Instagram and Facebook in tandem, because then I can repurpose content without creating more content. So I have a slightly different audience on Facebook and a slightly different audience on Instagram. Obviously, it crosses over, plenty of people on both. So I would say Instagram and Facebook, they work well together. So let's say if you're posting on Instagram every day, I know it sounds a lot, but with the right things in place, it is achievable, and it doesn't even need to be every day. But let's say you're posting on Instagram however many times it is, let's say 5 times a week or even 3 times a week. You don't need to post that same amount on Facebook on your personal profile, because that's a bit much. For Facebook, it's a different vibe, right? So you could just repurpose some of the content to Facebook. And so if I had to choose one, it would be a hard one between Instagram and Facebook, but it would definitely be Instagram, because Instagram has it would be very hard if I really had to choose one. It would be very hard to say bye to Facebook. But it would be Instagram, because like I said before, you can get the traffic with reels and even with posts. They have it's amazing. They have made the algorithm a bit easier, or maybe my content's just been better. I'm not really sure. But no, they definitely have changed the algorithm to make it easier to be discovered, even with posts, definitely with reels. But posts can be super good, do super well as well. And then you can really just go in the DMs and chat in the DMs. And you can also, if you have a well-optimized bio, so that's the first few lines under your name, that can be very powerful. You can get email subscribers on autopilot all day. As soon as they find your profile, even before they follow you, they can see the call to action. They make sure there's a call to action to your freebie. They can sign up. And the way Instagram works, it's very easy for a viewer to see the link. So I get a lot of subscribers just from people who've just found me and followed me. So, Instagram is very powerful. Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. And on your bio, speaking of bios, I noticed when I looked the other day, it was 30K in 30 days, a wonderful achievement by yourself, selling $30,000 worth of online courses and materials. But it's recently been changed to over $100,000, which is absolutely amazing and a huge milestone. So now that you have achieved $100,000 worth of sales in the online space while being a busy mum, can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, thank you for putting in about being a busy mum because it's a whole other game. It really is. And like what you're saying about those gurus, I feel a lot of it is very tone deaf to someone who doesn't have 12 hours a day to work. So yeah. How did I do it? It did, I did, like, I have to say, like, I did not plan to make 100,000. I just kind of was like, oh wait, like I was looking at my numbers and I'm like, what? Ooh, like that's not, I mean, obviously I knew I was making more money, and I was, I obviously saw that, felt that, and was grateful for that. But it's, how did I do it? I mean, it was launches, social media and launches just 5x, even 10x my business. But I was saying in general, 5x to be accurate, 5x my monthly income just by having good launches. And my launches were absolute mess at the beginning. And they still helped me do that because I still did my best. I still did launches. Obviously now I've improved and I'm getting, now I've improved, and like, but you can do the same even if you're not doing launches and you're just constantly, selling. That works as well. Just as a busy mom, I don't want to be constantly selling at this point. So for me, it was launches. I was having a good launch. So, having webinars and challenges. Yeah, basically a combination of webinar and challenges. And I'll launch it, offer the product, whatever I was selling at the time. I've sold a whole bunch of different products now, and then have a, enrollment is open until then, or you get this bonus until then. That's all I did, and I sent some emails, sent some posts, talked about my stories, and I literally had products ranging from a $9 book with a few upsells to full figure, 5,000, 6,000. But I've sold lots of low ticket, not just high ticket. I think there's a lot of value in both, but that's kind of another topic, right?
And sorry, just to clarify, so a launch is basically where you have a product or a course or something,
Mhm.
and it becomes available at a certain date and is available for a certain
Yeah,
period, and then you just do a whole bunch of promotion leading up to it,
yeah.
and during that period, and then once it's over, you start the next product or the
The
next
next
course.
cycle, the next
Yeah.
product, or the next cycle of growing your audience in preparation for the next launch. And yes, yeah, like I know it is, I definitely did not know what launch meant. Obviously now it's second nature to me, but I definitely did not know. So thank you for, talking about that. And yeah, so, and the reasons why launches work so well for me and why I love them so much is it really gives you, first of all, an opportunity to talk a lot about your offer. I mean, you can always talk a lot about your offer, it's up to you, but it really just gives you that, now you are selling, now you are in launch mode, like you are going to talk about this a lot. And also it just gives that urgency. People are busy. You truly need to give them a reason to buy now. Unless you're having one-to-one conversations, then you don't need as much urgency. But I've still found it worked really well with that. And it really just, the reason it works, so it just builds that excitement. It's a whole event. It's a whole, it doesn't need to be stressful. If it's well planned, it can be the least stressful thing you've ever done. So yeah, start thinking about how can you launch something? How can you, offer a free class, a free masterclass to your audience, and then, offer lessons at the end of it. But yeah, it's like, give it a go. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, and if you have it well planned, it can really make the difference. But that's what I did at the beginning. I had no clue what I was doing, and somehow it worked because I did do it right, and I did get the mentors and the coaches, and yeah.
Yeah, and maybe just ask you a question. How important was going out and getting coaching and mentoring, to your success, and finding out from people who knew what you didn't along the way?
So I feel like this is a bit of a double-edged sword, and I know, Michael, you agree with me, and I'm, glad to have found the right person. um, because I feel like too many people, they get a coach and they turn around and become a coach, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what I did. I figured out a lot myself, and obviously I did get coaches to support me, but I still had to figure it all out myself. I obviously learned from people, but it was my process and my journey, and something I did again and again and again and again until I can do it with my eyes closed. And even then, I didn't plan on becoming a coach. It just happened accidentally, right? On TikTok, if you want to find me, I'm called the Accidental Marketer. So, like, coaches, then, I, yeah, like like you definitely need that. And I help people create their course by giving them everything I wish I had then. But it's also about being really resourceful and, listening to those podcasts, funnel hacking, stalking people's emails to learn copywriting, um, just practicing, just getting up every day and posting something. Like, it wasn't like I couldn't have done it without coaches because a lot of what they told me, that's when things, really clicked and it helped me go to the next level. But yeah, it was definitely my process and my journey. It wasn't a step-by-step process given to me by a coach. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think there's a huge, everyone should get coaching in one way, shape, or form. And the easiest
Yeah,
place to go from where you are to somewhere else is to find someone who's already done it and then,
exactly.
ask them how to do it. And then along the way, you piece together a bunch of different things from a bunch of different coaches and put your
Yes.
own spin on it. And you're going to have unique problems in your business, which you figure out that then you can go and help out other
Yeah.
people with. And yeah, I do think there's a lot of people who jump the gun in terms of they take one course and that course tries to teach them to become a coach in kind of like a get rich quick kind of way.
Yes.
You learn from one person, then start trying to teach it to all these other people when you're not quite at the level where you are an expert. But that doesn't,
Exactly.
and the double-edged sword is a great example because it doesn't necessarily mean you're not qualified or you can't help people. You can definitely, if you're at level A, B, C, you can definitely help people at level A and B. And then, you just keep on growing and going forward or splitting. What's the word I'm looking for? Pivoting is the word. So finding a
Yeah.
niche and pivoting on what you can do. So yeah, it's one of those things where you can't be too critical of people. And I think a lot
Yes.
of people, this comment's going to rub people up the wrong way. Because it definitely,
Well, good.
I know this because because I felt it the same way when people would message me saying, "Hey, do you want to learn how to do this?" And it used to really annoy me because it was partly jealousy.
Yeah.
It's like I could do this. Why?
I want to
Like
do that.
how dare you?
Yeah.
And it totally comes from the fact that you can probably do it, but you
Very.
haven't taken the decision to
If
or
you
taken the
feel
action.
that. Yeah, I used to get so triggered. Oh my gosh. I'm like, who are you to say that? Like, I've done like way more. Like, I can do that with my eyes closed. And, since I started doing this, I'm not triggered anymore. If you're getting super triggered by someone doing something, you should probably go and do it. And you know what? There's space for everyone. Like, there is. Like, people are saying there's so many music coaches right now. And I'm like, yeah, there's so many music teachers as well. Does that mean someone shouldn't teach music? Like, no, there's space for everyone. And yes, a lot of people out there that coach music teachers on marketing, but you don't need to, it's not like you just need to choose one coach. And, I have so many clients that come to me from other coaches in the space and, or not even in the space, just other coaches. And then we do incredible stuff because they have that foundation of marketing, I, I, I love working with clients that have been with other coaches before, and then they can, you know, they make more money and they grow and then they want to hire another coach. Like, you don't just buy one pair of shoes, right? If you're looking for a coach, don't let you'll find the one that is right for you. Like, trust your intuition and gut when finding the right coach for you. Just because a coach gets great results doesn't mean they're right for you. Just because I get great results from my clients doesn't mean I am right for you. You will know if I am right for you, if I'm the right style for you, or if someone else says. So, it's not black and white. There's, you know, all the people that I see, they really put their heart and soul into it. And, there's plenty of good people to learn from. And I'm so happy that the music space is booming from the ground up. And yeah, like, because I had the experiences I had, now that I've packaged this into this niche offer, then my clients are getting like way faster results than me, right? Or like they understand the process so much better and are so much more confident than I was. So and if you are a music teacher with a lot of experience, then you don't just, you can branch out, like, help other music teachers. It's one of the types of courses that I teach. I call it the peer course or the old you course. I'm not just the student course where you're teaching your students in a course, but it can be where you were 2 years ago. It can be what your colleagues and peers are always asking you, like people always asking me about social media. And you can use the skills you've developed as a music teacher, which is such a big role in so many ways. Use those skills to do something else even, but it all comes from your role as a music teacher that does give you this journey, this experience to like build on that.
100%. And on that note, where can our listeners find you if they're looking for coaches, if they're looking for someone to get help from? Yeah, where can we find you on all the social media platforms that you mentioned?
Okay, awesome. So on Instagram, I am Brocha. So it's I am, then Brocha. That's how you phonetically say it. And then on Instagram, Brocha Kahan, Brocha Kahan. And then on TikTok, The Accidental Marketer. And then I'll send you a link, Michael, for you to put in the show notes for my Instagram guide on if, getting started or, taking your Instagram further, supercharging it. I hope any listener, feel free to reach out the whole time. I'm definitely in the DMs whenever I can, or in the private messages on Facebook. So definitely reach out to me. You can also join my group, Music Teacher's Guide to Social Media. That's what it's called, the Music Teacher's Guide to Social Media. That is my Facebook group. That is like front row to my best social media advice, as well as Instagram. And thank you for having me, Michael. That was, great to be on here.
Yeah, it was so great to have you on here, and I'm sure the listeners appreciate all the wealth and wisdom that you've shared with us today. So thank you very much, Brocha. It's been a pleasure chatting to you. Everyone listening, make sure you check her up through the social media links that she put there. Check out her stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next podcast. Thank you very much, guys. If you enjoy this show and want to hear more of our work, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. For links and resources mentioned in this episode, including a free ebook on how to find more guitar students, visit us at www.topmusic.co/guitar or check out the show notes. And lastly, thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.